Just took some profits on my Ethereum spot positions because Ethereum is absolutely exploding and we did hit my conservative case target. So that's what we need to discuss in today's update video. We will discuss a lot more than only that. We'll take a deep dive into what's the most important Bitcoin price data, the latest news in the markets here. Okay, so let's dive directly into it, because I did take a lot of profits at this conservative case targets, but because for me it doesn't make a lot of sense when I did make over a 2x on most of my Ethereum holdings, which is kind of insane if you would ask me. It doesn't make a lot of sense for me to be holding Ethereum towards that next bullish case target, because for me that isn't even a 1.5x from here anymore. In this stage of the cycle, if Ethereum is truly going to start moving parabolic here and even making new all-time highs, in that stage it's going to be much more interesting for me to be rotating some of my Ethereum profits I made here into the altcoin market. So that is where I will be taking a close eye on in the next few weeks, and you guys could also expect some update videos about, because I do think in that stage there are much more returns to be made on altcoins. But we do have to keep in mind that I'm also still expecting another Bitcoin move higher, and I do think the following could happen in the market from here. I do think, yes, Bitcoin is going to break out of this bull flag eventually, and then we could be looking in towards the final Bitcoin move of the cycle. Because if you take a look in towards the Fibonacci levels, I do think 123,000 US dollars is going to be an important level to break through, and if we do so, we could be moving towards that 140,000 US dollar level. Basically the final wave of this Bitcoin bull market. Once that's going to happen, basically two things could happen for Ethereum. Or we are going to see a slight pullback for Ethereum, or Bitcoin makes that next move higher and it will start outperforming Ethereum and you are going to see a slight pullback here, or Ethereum is just going to do its own thing and will keep outperforming Bitcoin. Of course, that's also a possibility, but if you also take a look into towards the liquidation heat map, you can clearly see that most of the liquidity is stacking up above Bitcoin here, and Ethereum did grab most of the topside liquidity at these range high levels here. So it's going to be important to be understanding exactly that, because if now a lot of liquidity will start stacking up at the downside here, for example, we could see a slight pullback, grabbing that downside liquidity once again and seeing a new move to the top side. So be open for exactly that scenario, because Bitcoin still has to grab a lot of liquidity at the top side here. So that's going to be important to understand, but I do think that there's still a little bit more in the tank for this Ethereum move to the top side, because if you take a look in towards Ethereum versus Bitcoin, we are still on our way towards this next major resistance level, and this is a very similar level like we saw before here. When we did touch it, we saw a slight pullback and then eventually the move higher after shaking out all the bears at the downside. So this is what I'm currently expecting for the market. Definitely don't think this bull market is over yet, because Bitcoin still has to catch up with the global liquidity and could be making quite a big move still from here. So that is still looking quite good, and of course I'm also expecting Ethereum and that. And then I do want to discuss a little bit more of Ethereum here, because actually the potential there still is for Ethereum, and definitely for altcoins, is still massive here. We haven't even seen such a big move yet. There's still a lot in the tank for Ethereum. We did of course discuss this chart there. I'm still expecting a small move higher for Ethereum versus Bitcoin there. And guys, if you had been watching my latest YouTube videos, you could simply see this major Ethereum setup we have been sharing lately, and it's exactly playing out like predicted, with the major bear trap basically shaking out of the bears and then the big move higher breaking out of the range. So congratulations if you have been trading on Ethereum there. We also did saw some massive inflows once again yesterday, so that's of course very positive once again. Over 250 million US dollars worth of inflows from BlackRock towards that Ethereum ETF. Bitcoin ETF flow is also looking bullish here, and the total Ethereum ETF flow was also looking even better than Bitcoin here. So guys, that was it for today's update video. I hope you guys enjoyed today's update video, and I will see you guys within the next update video tomorrow.
Are you looking for exchange with zero fees over 3,000 plus trading pair with industrial leading liquidity proof of reserve that has 1:1 ratio with 24/7 online customer service support? Scan the QR code to easy to direct MEXC website and start your first trading. Thank you.
Trading is never as easy. But who say you can't have fun? In every minute you lend, the more you will enjoy. As you grow up in this industry, you will find yourself and surround yourself with people who will help you to grow up as trader. It's hard in the first place, but I am sure you will be successful. As a trader, always remember trend is your friend.